before proving any number is irrational, we will briefly look at proving techniques. So you will study here one of the most powerful proving techniques in mathematics is proof by contradiction. Okay, so before going in detail about proof by contradiction, we will see why these proving techniques are important. In order for you to truly appreciate these proving techniques, I suggest you to watch the movie The Man Who Knew Infinity. You watch this movie, okay? So it's all about our famous Indian mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan. Okay, Srinivasa Ramanujan had 3 books worth theorems. Okay, he knew those answers. I mean, he had so many theorems, and he knew that those things were true. But no one were able to prove that those things were actually true. Okay, so in mathematics world, nothing is accepted without the proof. So in earlier days, we did not have standardized proving techniques. Okay, so one of the very popular one and only one which we always used is direct proof. So what is direct proof is that you start with LHS. So you go on applying the laws that you know, or the theorems that you know, or the facts that you know, and you simplify your LHS, and you finally end with RHS. So that is what you have been doing till now, correct? But as the mathematics got standardized, now we have so many proving techniques, and one of the most powerful proving techniques is proof by contradiction. You must have done this before, I am not really sure, but we will study proof by contradiction here in detail. Okay, so proof by contradiction is very simple. Okay, so we will start with an assumption. When can you apply this proof by contradiction? You can apply this proof by contradiction only if the theorem is answered as true or false. Okay, it cannot have any other answers, like there is no, it may be true or false. In these conditions, you cannot apply this thing. So either whatever theorem you have, either it must be true or it must be false. So there must be only 2 possible outcomes. There must be no other intermediate answers. Okay, so only in such cases we can apply proof by contradiction. All right. Now, how do we apply proof by contradiction? So here, what we do is that we claim some assumption to be true. Okay, so we claim that some assumption is true, and we go on solving. So when you go on solving, somewhere in between you arrive at a step which you definitely know to be false. Okay, so when you come across such a statement using that assumption to be true, you solved something and you came across the step where you know that that is definitely false, then what should be wrong? What should be wrong is that your assumption must be wrong. This is what is proof by contradiction. Okay, so we start with an assumption, and we will finally come up to a number, to a step where we definitely know that that is wrong. So when we know that that is definitely wrong, then what actually is wrong in this way of proving is that the assumption that you started off with, that is something that was wrong. So we will see this one. Let's see these 2 simple problems. You will appreciate proof by contradiction by seeing these 2 properties. Let's see this one. So we know that sum of 2 positive numbers is always positive. This one we definitely know. So now question is, how do we prove this one? So in order to prove this one, what we will do, let's start with an assumption. So this is my assumption. So generally what we do is that whatever is the given statement, we will assume that the opposite of that we will assume to be true. Okay, see here, there are only 2 answers here. So either it can be positive or it can be negative. So as I said, there should be only 2 parts. You cannot have any other intermediate results, correct? So sum of 2 positive numbers, either it can be positive or negative. So since there are only 2 outcomes for this sum of 2 positives, you can apply proof by contradiction. Okay. So now assumption. So what is the assumption I make? The opposite of this one I will take to be true, which means I will assume let sum of 2 positive numbers be, okay, let the numbers be, that will be easy for me. So let positive numbers be A and B. So A and B are my positive numbers. The assumption I will make it like this. So let the sum of 2 positive numbers be negative. Okay, so what am I saying here is that, so let A plus B be negative, which means it is less than 0. So let us assume that this is true. So using this assumption, I will solve. So once I solve using this assumption, I will come to a point where I definitely know that that is wrong. So once I know that that is definitely wrong, what should be wrong? My assumption must be wrong, which means this must be false, which means a plus b cannot be negative, which means it has to be positive. So that is how we prove. Okay. So let's continue with this. So assuming that this is true, let's continue this one. So let's bring b this side. So when I bring the b this side, then it becomes a is less than minus b. You got here. So when here I am saying a is now lesser than negative of b, which means if a is lesser than negative of b, a becomes a negative number. What we started off with, we know that a is a positive number. Since a is a positive number, and now we are claiming that a is less than minus b, which means here we are claiming that a is a negative number, which is definitely wrong. This is definitely false. So if this is definitely false, so what has to be true? So what has to be true? What has to be false? Your assumption must be false, which means a plus b cannot be lesser than 0. So therefore, a plus b must be greater than 0. So this is your proof. So a plus b is greater than 0, meaning a plus b is positive. So here we proved that sum of two positive integers, positive numbers will give you a positive number. I hope you understood this one. So let's see this one. Similarly, so we will start off with an assumption which is opposite to the given numbers. Okay. So let's he is saying sum of even numbers is even. We already know that this is true. We have applied this one multiple times. Okay. But now question is, how do we prove this one? So how do we prove this one is, we will assume, so let even numbers be a and b. If a and b are even numbers, then a and b are multiples of 2. Correct? So if a and b are multiples of 2, I'll write it like this. A is sum 2 times k1 and b is sum 2 times k2, where k1 and k2 are integers. Where k1 and k2 are integers. So why can I write this one? I can write this one because we know that a and b are even numbers. So if a and b are even numbers, they have to be some multiple of 2. Okay. Alright. So what is the assumption here? So we will make an assumption. The assumption here is that sum of even numbers is odd. So let's say that one. So sum of even numbers. That is, in this case, our even numbers are a and b. So we will assume that a plus b is odd. Let us assume that this is true. Sum of even numbers is odd. Let this be true. So we already know that odd numbers will be of the form 2 times sum m plus 1. Correct? Even numbers will be of the form 2 times m, and odd numbers will be of the form 2 times m plus 1. So if that is the case, then what happens? So we are assuming a plus b is sum 2 times sum k3. I will take k3 plus 1, because we are assuming that it is an integer. So here what do we know about k3? k3 is an integer. This is our very crucial argument, where k3 is integer. So if k3 is an integer, so when I simplify this equation, whatever answer I get should be an integer. It should not be a fraction. Alright. So let's see if this is true. So let's substitute for a and b. So a is 2 times k1 plus b is 2 times k2, and this plus 1 I will bring it this side. So it becomes minus 1 is equal to 2 times k3. So here I'll take 2 outside here. So it becomes 2 when I take outside, it becomes k1 plus k2 minus 1 is equal to 2 times k3. Okay. So k1 is an integer, k2 is an integer. So when you add these two, you will get another integer. So it becomes 2 times sum k4 minus 1 is equal to 2 times k3. Please understand this one. What is this one? So 2 times k4 is an even number, because you are multiplying a number by 2. So this is an even number. So even number, I am subtracting 1. So this whole thing becomes an odd number. Because it becomes an odd number, so I'll write for k3 now. So what is k3? k3 is 2 times k4 minus 1 divided by 2. This is odd number. Odd number divided by 2 can never be an integer. So we started with an argument saying k3 is an integer. Now we came to a sentence where we definitely know that this is not an integer. So this is not an integer. So what did we prove here? So we started off with an assumption that it is an odd number. So when we started off with an assumption that it is odd number and k3 is an integer, and finally we are coming to a point where k3 is not turning out to be an integer. So which means our assumption must be wrong. So if our assumption is wrong, which means a plus b is not an odd number, which means a plus b must be an even number. I hope you understood how to prove by contradiction. Very, very powerful proving technique and very, very interesting proving technique. I hope you appreciate proof by contradiction. We will apply the same in order to prove that numbers are irrational.